Millionaire returned home early. What he saw his maid doing with his children brought him to tears. Ethan Caldwell was a man who seemed to have everything. At just 42 years old, he was one of the most successful real estate investors in New York. His empire stretched across towering skyscrapers, luxurious resorts, and sprawling estates. With wealth that could afford him every luxury imaginable, people often assumed he lived a perfect life. But behind the polished suits, the mansion on the hill, and the fleet of cars, Ethan carried a weight that money could not lift. He was a widower. His wife, Clara, had passed away 3 years ago after a sudden illness, leaving behind 2 children, Lily age 8 and Jacob just 6. Clara's absence had hollowed out Ethan's heart. He buried himself in work, convincing himself that building more wealth and security for his children was a way to honor her memory. But in truth, he was avoiding the pain. And in doing so, he was slowly becoming a stranger to his own kids. Lily and Jacob missed their father. They longed for his attention, his laughter, the bedtime stories he used to tell before their mother passed. Instead, they saw him only in rushed breakfast, distracted hugs, and quick goodbyes. Most of their days were spent with their nanny, Maria, the maid Ethan had hired soon after Clara's passing. Maria was not just an employee. She was a warm-hearted woman in her mid-30s, originally from a small village in Mexico. She had come to America with hopes of giving her own daughter a better future, but circumstances had separated them. While Maria worked, her daughter stayed with relatives back home. She poured the love she missed giving to her own child into Lily and Jacob. To them, Maria was more than a maid. She was like a second mother. Ethan, however, never truly noticed. He paid her well, trusted her to keep the household running, but beyond that, he rarely looked deeper into what she meant to his children. The day everything changed. One chilly autumn Friday, Ethan wrapped up his business earlier than expected. The deal he thought would take him through the night had concluded quickly, and instead of staying late at the office or attending another networking event, something tugged at his heart. He decided to go home early. For the first time in months, he thought, maybe I'll surprise Lily and Jacob. Maybe we can have dinner together. As his sleek black car pulled up the grand Caldwell mansion, the house looked unusually alive. Warm lights glowed through the windows, and faint sounds drifted into the night. Ethan frowned. It wasn't the quiet, polished atmosphere he usually returned to. Curious, he left his car in the driveway and quietly walked into the side door. He expected to find the kids in their rooms or perhaps watching TV. Instead, what he heard stopped him in his tracks. Laughter. Genuine, bubbling laughter. The kind he hadn't heard from his children in so long. He followed the sound of the living room, and there he froze. The scene that broke him. Maria sat cross-legged on the carpet, her hair pulled back, her face glowing with joy. Around her were Lily and Jacob, their cheeks flushed with excitement. In the center was a large cardboard box, transformed into a makeshift castle with windows cut out, drawings scribbled on the sides, and blankets draped across it like turrets. Jacob, wearing a paper crown, was king, while Lily was a brave knight. Maria, with a towel tied around her shoulders, played the dragon. The 3 of them acted out a story together. Maria roared dramatically, making the children squeal with laughter as they ran to rescue a stuffed animal princess trapped inside the castle. When Lily stumbled, Maria scooped her up and spun her around, both of them laughing until tears rolled down their cheeks. Ethan's chest tightened. He leaned against the doorway, hidden, watching. He saw something he hadn't realized was missing from his home. Life, love, connection. Maria wasn't just caring for his children. She was giving them the childhood he had been too busy, too broken, to provide. When Jacob shouted, "I love you, Mama Maria," Ethan's heart cracked wide open. Maria froze for a moment, tears filling her eyes. She hugged both children tightly and whispered, "I love you too, Ms. Amores." Ethan couldn't hold back anymore. His vision blurred, and he stepped into the room. The children gasped with delight. "Daddy!" Lily cried, rushing to him. Jacob followed, tugging his sleeve. "Come play with us." Ethan knelt, hugging them both tightly, feeling their small arms around his neck. He glanced up at Maria, who stood there nervously, her cheeks flushed. I didn't know you were home early, Mr. Caldwell." she said softly, but Ethan couldn't speak at first. His throat was tight with emotion. Finally, he managed, "Maria, what I just saw." His voice broke. He wiped his eyes quickly, ashamed of his tears, but they kept coming. "Thank you." Maria blinked in surprise. "Sir, you've given my children what I haven't. Joy, love, a family. I thought providing money and a house was enough. But I was wrong." His voice trembled. "You've been their anchor when I wasn't. And tonight, I realized how much they need you. How much I need you, too." Tears streamed down Maria's cheeks. She shook her head humbly. "I only did what any heart would do. They are such precious children. They remind me of my own daughter." Her voice cracked. "I couldn't be there for her, so I tried to give Lily and Jacob what I wished I could give her." Ethan stood there, overwhelmed. His children tugged his hand, begging him to join the game. And for the first time in years, he did. He crawled into the cardboard castle, wore the paper crown, and roared like a dragon. His children's laughter filled the house, mixing with his own, a sound he hadn't made in far too long. That night changed everything. Ethan began rearranging his life. No more endless late nights at the office. No more missing out on little things. He realized money could build skyscrapers, but it couldn't build memories. He wanted to be present. As for Maria, Ethan's gratitude only deepened. He offered to bring her daughter to America, covering all expenses so they could be reunited. When Maria's little girl arrived months later, the Caldwell home blossomed even more. The children became like siblings, the house full of joy, warmth, and love. Ethan never forgot that one evening when he came home early. The image of Maria laughing with his children would forever be etched in his heart. It was a night he realized that true wealth wasn't measured in dollars, but in moments of love and connection. And whenever he looked at Maria, the woman who had healed his family's broken pieces, his eyes often filled with tears.